Joining us now is Devika Bridge, the CEO and founder of Bridge the Gap Consulting, based right here in Atlanta, and the author of Thrive in Color, joining us in studio this time for a conversation. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me back.
So in our last conversation, we were talking about the workforce, those who want to make themselves more marketable in the workforce, maybe changing their careers. And after we did that segment, there was a viewer that wrote into us saying, well, what about those who are over 55? Are they facing the same obstacles? Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you just want to change your career. So that's what we want to talk about today. You start off the conversation by answering that question. What if you're over 55? Are you facing the same obstacles as somebody who might be in their 30s or 20s looking for a job?
Look, age bias exists in the workplace. I think that there are certain corporations that have done really good work around eliminating that. But it does exist, and it's something that we have to be cognizant of. And I think this conversation is the first step, right? To just be prepared as you're entering the job market, transitioning in your career. But there are significant, differences between somebody who's newer in their career versus a mature professional. But at the same time, there are so many benefits of being a mature professional that, we can't ignore those things either. And so I just want to encourage folks to also think about the fact, if you're, instilling those fears in yourself, or, are you cognizant of those biases that you might have for yourself and those stereotypes, or is it something that you're actually, facing? I think that's a reality that we have to be really mindful of as well.
And I like that you use the term mature professional, because the reality of it is at 55, at 60, at 65, you have years of experience that somebody who's 25 or 30 does not have. So how could people harness that and use that to their benefit as they are looking for work?
Look, any corporation wants individuals with extensive experience, but the thing is, instead of looking at it as just experience, it's thinking about how that experience has helped you become a problem solver. How have you helped your previous companies and teams meet their goals and objectives, and leaning into, tying that together. Yes, my extensive experience, but how have I delivered success in the past as well, and really painting that picture very clearly. But, experience is definitely on your side.
So would you say, because I know in our last conversation you had talked about data and showing kind of like if you say you had an internship or something like that, you want to show how did you benefit that internship in terms of data. Can you do that with, like you said, those years of experience? How would somebody, let's say on a resume, for example, let's say you came out of a career of marketing, but now you want to change the pace, or let's say you worked in a grocery store for 20 years and you want to get into marketing. How could somebody kind of tweak their resume or their cover letter and sell those experiences to make them marketable in that workplace?
Absolutely. So what you want to do is pull the job descriptions of the roles you're interested in within that new industry, and then take a look to understand what are the common themes you're seeing across every job description. What are the common words being used? What are the necessary skills and strengths that you're seeing across the board? Those are the words that you want to use in your resume, but also your LinkedIn profile. And the reason that's so important is you're allowing the individual who's looking to hire you to understand, hey, the experience might not be as direct, but this is how it actually correlates to what we're trying to do as a company, what we're trying to do as a team, where we're trying to take our product, or how we're trying to service our clients. And so when you're able to clearly paint that picture using words and terms that they're already used to, it makes it easier. Additionally, you want to be mindful of what they call ATS, or applicant tracking systems. So most organizations are either, when they're pulling your resume or your LinkedIn profile, they're putting in these keywords into the system that exists. And as they are receiving applications, resumes, all of the good stuff, they're actually sorting who fits the criteria of what they're trying to hire for and who doesn't, and they're sorting that on the back end before the recruiters actually get involved. So you want to make sure that you're using the right keywords, not only as you interview, but also on your resume, LinkedIn profile, and on the applications itself.
So basically using that application as a guide and using their own words in your email, in your resume, so they're like, oh, okay, you did a little bit of research, this is what we're looking for. Very, very cool. And I want to ask you this, because this is something, and you mentioned it at the top of our conversation, ageism, discrimination based on age is obviously illegal, but unfortunately some people still deal with it.
Yeah.
If somebody is dealing with that in a workplace, do you have any advice of what they could do to try to combat that?
I think the first step is when you are seeking employment with a corporation, look for corporations that have demonstrated that they desire to be diverse, equitable, and inclusive, right? So, a lot of these organizations have posted their thought around it, their understanding, the leaders behind these causes. And when you see that, you know that you'll be generally supported by the company when you're in the door. So if you're experiencing those things, it could be a good conversation to have with someone that's trusted. So no matter if you are the youngest person in the room or the oldest, you should have sponsors, mentors, individuals that can be trusted partners to you, and really seek their understanding and their knowledge around, policies that you might be able to tap into internally, but also just be able to gut check with yourself. Hey, is this something that should be solved with my leader? Is this something that needs to be escalated? Because all of those experiences can be nuanced, but I think it's important to have trusted individuals around you. And if it's not your direct leader, who are other people you can tap into within the corporation itself and within the team? But also think about your peers in different companies that you trust and can lean on for the discernment and wisdom as well.
And when I tell you that is some solid advice, because every single person from industry to industry, sure, you can try to do it on your own, but why do it when you can have a mentor? You have somebody in your corner that's trying to help you. And I like that you said, even if they're not in your industry, find somebody that might be doing something similar in another industry that could still speak to that. Because I'm taking that advice too. At my age, under 55, we won't disclose that, but it is under 55 right now. Devika, I want to ask you one last question, just for people who might be listening and they say, I have lost hope. This market is just not hiring right now. I don't know what to do. I've lost my job. We've seen a lot of job loss in recent years. We were just talking about before we came on air with sales. Sales can be a very cutthroat industry, right?
Absolutely.
What can people do, those who have lost hope and they don't know what to do right now?
A couple of things, and I'll provide a few avenues folks can consider. The first thing is be proactive in how you show up through your brand. So your LinkedIn profile is really important, right? Because a lot of people ignore their profile because they think it's archaic and nobody's actually looking at it. 80% of recruiters are looking for LinkedIn profiles when they're vetting you. So making sure that your profile, you have a professional or polished picture. No selfies with your cat or dog, with your partner. It should be you. You should look polished. It should be a recent picture. And making sure that you also have recommendations on your profile as well. That is a part of a LinkedIn profile that's often missed. But what that does is it reinforces for the companies who are looking for talent like you that you are a great peer, that you're a team player, that you're a problem solver. So tap into people who can write you a recommendation and let your brand just be a proactive, shining example of who you are. Second is be strategic with the application process. So don't just apply for any job that you come across, because volume isn't your friend at this point. It's really applying for roles that either you're interested in or you can do the role, you have experience in that particular area or transferable skills. So making sure you're just being really strategic. And then third, lean into your network. So 85% of candidates find their next career opportunity by tapping into their network. That's a huge number. So think about, the fact that you as a mature professional have a community and a network that someone who's newer in their career likely doesn't have. So think about that. You might have to go through your phone book, you might have to go through your email or your LinkedIn, and really consider who can be an advocate of yours, a champion of yours, maybe refer you into their companies. But there's a lot that can be done through tapping into your network. And then lastly, refine your skills as much as possible. So gone are the days where you have to register for a course and sit in that local community college. Learning is accessible. LinkedIn Learning is a great opportunity for you to tap into so much skills and strength building sitting on your own couch. Coursera is another great avenue, and if you're a first or second generation immigrant, Zaka Connect is a new platform for those to brush up on their professional development skills. So there's so many things that you can tap into to be not only marketable but a strong candidate, no matter who you're competing with.
I like that. It's almost like it's not free college because you're definitely putting in the time and it might cost a little bit of money, but you're able to get those skills, get those certifications to make yourself even more marketable without going back to a 4-year, 8-year, because it's like sometimes people don't have the time to do that. So.
No, or the funds. But the great thing about online courses is that it could be free $99, or it could be something reasonable, like $20 per workshop, $40 per workshop. Most people are willing to make that investment if it's something that they know is a gap, and they can gain understanding around that fairly quickly.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insight and expertise. Hopefully somebody at home will be able to take something away from this and get back to a job that they not only need but love, want, and desire. Davika Bridge, thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it.